you remember me would get sold, and I have a special guest today who hasn't been on in a little while, and I'm so grateful that he has decided to share some wisdom with us. So we'll do our usual format. We will do our little prayer before we get going, and then I'm just going to turn it over to Soul.2k. And all I've asked him ahead of time was whatever he feels, whatever information is most relevant to us at this time. Whatever he wants to talk about or whatever he feels that the people need to know, that you need to know. So with that, we're going to begin with our deep breathing. We're going to do begin. Yep. See, I'm rusty. All right. So what we're going to do is everybody out there who's watching, if you would like to just sit for a minute and bring in some air, breathe deep. And then do two more. Okay, that puts us in a good energetic place. So, Soul.2k is now 10 and a chess whiz and a whole bunch of other things. So I'm just gonna let you take over and talk about what you feel like you wanna tell everybody. And then maybe at the end you can still bless us with some light language, because that was one of the coolest things.
Okay, so about like 3 days ago or something, I got picked up with a call. So like, we were doing our talk at night, and like it was like, so apparently one of the planets are launching an attack on the universe, like a rebellion, and so they're weaponizing like sound, and so technology. They're like their whole planet is like based off sound and works off sound and stuff, and so they built this machine and it sends out sound waves at a frequency. And so what they would do is they would, once they see like an object, like a planet in the way, it would wrap around them and then like slowly destroy the planet, making it smaller until it destroys. And they keep doing that until the universe gives in. And no planets have been destroyed yet. And yeah, the universe is like, it's a pretty serious thing right now.
Wow. So, I mean, we got our own issues going on Earth. Is that any effect on us whatsoever? Is that their own thing going on besides?
It's very far away. Like,
okay.
That's actually across timelines.
Wow.
Yeah.
So real quick, if you're joining us for the first time, one of the things I really want to just tell you real quick about Soul.2k is Soul.2k came into this Earth plane to help with the Great Awakening, but he is more comfortable talking about interstellar, intergalactic beings and things and whatever, just to give you a little context if you're joining us for the first time. So he enjoys talking about all the different types of beings there are, what he sees through his third eye, etc., etc. So what else would you like to bring up?
And also there's a new type of angel. And so basically when you become a guardian angel, if you feel like you can't find a person, like no one needs a guardian angel for like years, at least years on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They will assign you and they will give you a choice. And it's basically where you can go on a quest that goes like light years and stuff. And so what it is to prove that. So like, if you it's like probably the biggest rank that you can get, and barely any angels have completed it. And I'll get back to like what it happened. So basically there's this planet and it's like at least 100 times bigger than the sun.
Wow.
And so on it, there are many structures, but among one of them is called the Tempest of the Great. And so it's like a huge temple, like Egyptian style. And so there's a bunch of trials that goes underground and stuff to prove yourself as a good like warrior. And so like there's a bunch of traps, there's a coliseum underground and stuff. And there's a lot of things, and like they also test you like mentally, you know. They do a lot of tests like that. They test you physically. And so at the end, you'll be like a warrior, a trusted warrior. And so like if there's a big attack, just like the sound one that I was talking about, you'll be like the commander of the armies and stuff. And yeah, so it's like a test of a soldier.
Can I bring in something that you're not planning on? Can I bring up the topic of school and how our Earth school might be a whole lot different than universal schools out there, like what you're experiencing right now?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're kind of bored at school and the curriculum and so forth isn't.
Kinda is an understatement, but
Would you like to expound on that, how you feel, or would you rather just save that for another
once
video?
again, expound. uh, so in school, I feel.
Well, this might be good information for others out there who have children in the school system and feel like it's just not working anymore. It was part of an old system, and you're here 10 years old and you're extraordinary in what you can do and tap into and all that because you're really more of a ET kind of person rather than acclimated human, I guess you'd say. Excuse me. And so some of the things that they teach in this school, or even some of the pace that they keep or whatever, just isn't working for you too well.
Yeah, it's like, in my opinion, most of the schools, like, just like she says all the time, they're trying to dumb you down. Like, and I can relate to this a lot. Like right now, so there's this thing called stacking. It's we're just gonna review this quickly. You put two numbers of any kind of digit, and you put them on top of each other, write a line, and it becomes super easy because once you do that and you line it up like columns, so it would be like, let's say it's something like 2,954 like plus something like 1,594. So it would be the ones column, it would be 4 plus 4, and then we keep going and going on. Thousands, it would be 2 plus 1 and stuff like that, and it keeps going in every column. So right now, they just made it so we had to add the zeros after the number. It's just way more writing.
So this is not a shot against his school per se. This is the where we need as parents to start looking at what the kids are going through. I just wanted to put a little thing out there just because he's experiencing this right now, and I kind of wanted him to share his opinion with you on that. It's not necessarily a spiritual topic, but it's one that matters. So, okay, on to the next. What would you like to
anyway, okay. And yeah, so that's one of the the guardian angel kind of thing. That's one of the things. And also you'll be like a like helper of the gods, like the highest, one of the highest ranks and stuff, which is why it's so hard to get, because you're super trusted, because they know that you're like mentally strong, you're physically strong, you're all of that.
So when you look around at kids today, are you able to tap into whether or not they're like you, or like, can you see their energy field? Can you see how many new kids are coming in? Do you have, I mean, are you just not thinking about it? Because you could just not be thinking about it, but
I don't know why, but like every time I meet someone, it's like I take a picture of them 1,000 times. Just like my brain immediately analyzes them so much times. So like even some of the vaguest people I know so much about, it's really weird and stuff. So yeah, like we could talk one time and I know a lot about their personality.
so, and so you're essentially reading the energy or whatever, but you never talk about people that way. Like you just keep it to yourself. You're just like scanning them so that you know what you're up against or what you need to deal with, correct?
Yes, I don't know why it keeps happening, but like a lot of people I know the personality of and stuff just from one talk and stuff.
Yep. So, let's talk about, can you tap into an update for Earth? How are we doing with our energies? How are we moving forward?
The it's like we're growing, but only it's so the government and stuff are so so we are growing and like becoming more powerful, and they're matching that by with their forces. So it's kind of like an even battle right now, but like we are slowly winning.
Yeah, I mean, it seems now that people are a little more awake than they were even 2 years ago when we started talking about things. And of course, we grow too. You know, it's not like we don't know everything, even just by asking it. None of us know the whole picture, but the goal is to actually go inside and start asking these questions and feeling out who you are, what your true power is, who you are supposed to be on this earth, and then starting to create a new reality for yourself, and then that affects everybody around you. Let's see, what are we on for time? We're still doing good, so we're like 11. So what else would you like to bring into like guardian how do I want to say this, like when your guides, guardians, people that you like talk to, or where you get your information from? There's a lot of people that haven't maybe seen this show, and you were really helpful in talking about going through the high heart in order to see your own universe and get healthy, good information, versus those who don't know how to use the third eye, and basically you're seeing everything out there in the universe. Just take a minute and think to yourself, without me saying anything, like what would be a good thing that the people need to know right now. I'll keep my mouth shut.
It's like it's not nothing very major is coming along. But yeah, like I said, that's kind of like an even war right now. So that's really the only thing major happening right now. There are some like other stuff out in the cosmos that's interesting to me.
Yes, no, you're right, because we have those conversations. It's wild. I'd like to do just a series on that. I was going to do that a while ago, but I've been going through so much change and growth and cocooning and all that myself that I haven't been able to go where he wants to go. Like I've said before, he wanted to do a lot of lives, and that was like the last thing that I could deal with at that time. So I kind of, was working against him instead of with him. But, these things happen as they're going to happen. He's got a future of, much more, I'm sure, with his talents and abilities. So it's not like we have a time crunch here. Maybe I do because I'm a lot older, but um, let's see. Have we had any massive extinctions of animals or things that have really changed as Mother Earth is doing her thing?
Like spiritual animals or
Pretty much like physical animals, like as we're going through all these different weather changes and things like that, some are man-made, some are not. What do you think what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
It's tough because we're coming back together after, I don't know, like a year or two. I think I remember you were 7 years old when we talked to Miss Ingrid, and this kid was it was the first time we heard him do like predictions, and I never published that video because I didn't know where we were going to go at that point. But he was talking about 2030 and Armageddon, things like this that I didn't even like think that was even in his awareness, being like 7. And I know things change as we go, like we're there's timeline changes, things we're progressing, in other words, as we're going. So would you still say that 2030 is a viable date for things? And when I say Armageddon, this is not to be fearful. This is just changing, going from the old way of doing things to new ways of doing things. I'm not into, making people afraid or whatever. When we say Armageddon, that's actually a word that means something else in another language, like new beginnings or something, I know I'm fascinated with like the Tartaria humanitarians. Do you know anything about Atlantis?
So from Atlantis, it actually is like it's supposedly sunken, I think. And
Mhm.
so people are thinking about it. And so from this, it actually before it got destroyed, there was like a group of these people who found I'm getting visions, like they found this staircase
Mm.
and like away from the kingdom. And so they went up into it and they like entered the spirit realm
Oh wow.
and they were still living. They
Yep.
just couldn't be found. They were missing for like months and stuff while they were out there. And so now, even with Atlantis supposedly destroyed, but like those now, it's a new species in a different planet,
Oh
like
wow.
pretty close, but
So
in the spirit world.
do you know what Lemuria is? I mean, do you know about the Lemurian people? No. Okay.
Never heard of it.
Okay. Um, let's see. So, any other ancient civilizations that are significant today that you can think of?
There's like a just fun fact. I feel like this is gonna close the video because there's not much major stuff that happens.
Okay.
But a last little fun fact is that like per planet, there are like 100 of species that have branched off from one planet from another to another.
Really?
Which is why like some planets it could be almost identical to another one and stuff. But yeah.
I was absolutely floored when I introduced you to Twyla, and the three of us had already known each other in other incarnations. And that blew me away that you and her were talking planets that, like, I don't know, I wouldn't even imagine existed. And that was pretty wild. So how about now, let's see. We could, oh, you know what I don't think we did any mention of because it was way back, was you mentioned the shoulder chakras and toxins. I thought that was really, really important.
Yeah, so about like years ago, I think now.
I think it was like last year or
Yeah.
a year and a half ago.
So there are like chakras in your shoulders, and basically they so the reason that they're not recognized now is that everyone's all the people's shoulder chakras have been closed off. So what happened is a long time ago they were like common. And so what they do is they would block out toxins. They would like they're like the filters of your body. And so when um the people we're trying to fight against found out against this, they use selective breeding against stuff. And so like some people, as you know, some people are born with like let's say their throat chakra could be closed off, but another chakra could be better.
Right.
And so it's like that. So they found someone with closed off shoulder chakras, and they kept doing this until like no one had them.
So the reason we brought this up was because we were having our conversations about toxins in foods. And I was worried about like, the stuff they serve at school or whatever. Again, no shot against anybody. It's the world we live in. But he had gotten that information channeled to him one night and he was like, well, I just got to heal the other one or whatever. And it was in relationship to the food that we eat, how it can filter out the chemicals that by now you must know that just about everything out there has something in it that is counterproductive, either to our third eye, pineal gland, like fluoride, just our organs in our bodies. And we weren't taught any of this. So that's when we had this conversation about the shoulder chakras. And I was like floored, like, wow, if we all got our throat chakras and our pineal glands and our thymus and all of these other things working well, then we could probably move along a little faster in our evolution. So that was really good information. So what would you tell them out there?
And also to open up your shoulder chakras, it's to be proud of yourself. And I don't mean like the way of like
not
being
ego.
arrogant and stuff like that. Just like proud of yourself. You don't have to talk about it. You just need to have that feeling that's like, I did something good.
That was beautiful, because how many of us really struggle with that? Like, we do things for other people, but we just don't want, I don't know how to say it, but it's really hard for a lot of us, especially some of the starseeds, I think, because it's hard to like receive or just, do a good job and not be egotistical about it. Be like, yeah, I'm all that. But that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. So now for the last few minutes, if you'd like, I really would love to hear.
That language.
Yes, yes, I miss it so much. So whatever you want to do, whatever message, I'm just gonna let you rip.
Z, K, G, Kian, G, O, K, E, G, O, K, A, Kian, Gu, G, O, K, G, Gu.
Wow.
So, in translated, it basically means that like it's a pretty long message just because it doesn't sound so long. It
Right.
doesn't mean it's long. So it basically means that just because all of this is going on, it doesn't mean that there's still peace that you can feel, and it doesn't mean that you should be scared, and it doesn't mean that you can still have like that little place you go to or the little thing that comforts you in through all of this.
So wow, that's beautiful. So while we're going through feeling like we're inside out, feeling like we're being pummeled with these energies from Mother Earth or Father Sun or whatever you want to call it, the Earth's like we're just getting pummeled. And we're supposed to be dealing with a lot of stuff: karma, ancestral wounds, your own childhoods, finding out who you are. All of this stuff takes a lot of energy and a lot of work. And so that's a beautiful, beautiful message for that. So again, we're unscripted. We just pull this together in a few minutes because I said I'm going to be heading back to New England soon. And I know I've had a really hard time doing my own videos. Just, it's been impossible. But I figured, well, I had Soul.2k and this precious resource, this precious one, I wanted to share him with you. So thank you so much, and we'll see you all soon. I don't know when or where, just stick with us. Please subscribe. And if I can eventually come out of my shell next year, I see that as my good year, like going through like what we just did. We had a little butterflies and we watched them go from cocoons to butterflies and let them go. And I feel like next year is my year for that to
We have a
finally.
turkey bird outside.
Yeah. Yeah, this morning there was it turns out a mourning dove, and I was like, why aren't you going anywhere? Like, I'm right next to you. And then we had to research that and looked up the animal totem. That's another little thing that you can use when you see something cross your path that you're like, hey, wait a minute.
And it's still out there. It hasn't moved for
Yeah.
super long.
So we did he let me photograph him for like the longest time with my good camera and all that. And it was a beautiful message that the mourning dove has, and also the butterflies. And I've had 3 dragonflies fly across the car as I was driving. And so look all those up, and also triple numbers or even weird numbers. I had 881 come in my dream the other day. So I looked that up under angel numbers, and it's just, you're getting flooded with information and support and help from your guides, your angels, your loved ones on the other side. Just take a minute to listen to them and feel them, because they are really trying to help us, because it's very hard what we're going through. And I don't think any person is unaffected in some way. So we love you. Thank you so much for being here. And
Please subscribe.
thank you. Thank you for those who have, because our numbers did go up, and I know one day it'll be what it's supposed to be, but for right now, I'm so grateful to have Soul.2k with us. So thank you all, and we will see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Please share this video.
Yes.
And all the other ones.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.